Hello everybody, my name is Katie Resnick, my pronouns are they, them, and today I'm going to be giving you just a brief introduction to SEL or social emotional learning. So let's get into it. Alright, so what is SEL? Like I said, SEL stands for social emotional learning. It's essentially the process of not only learning but also implementing social and emotional skills in a school setting. So this is most effective when it's taught from an early age, like TK, kinder would be best, but really it can be implemented at any time, and it has shown great success and promise in classrooms of all age groups. All right, let's continue. So next up, we have what is CASEL. So if you are somewhat familiar with SEL, you may have heard CASEL referred to before. If not, that's totally fine. So CASEL, stands for the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. They are essentially a big SEL organization. They organize a lot of the research regarding SEL and conducting these studies or synthesizing the research of others and seeing what works and what doesn't in terms of social emotional learning. So they have created what they call the 5 core competencies, which are self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, social awareness, and relationship skills. So when we're talking about SEL and having it in our classrooms as a daily practice or an ongoing goal, we want to stick to these 5 core competencies. That's what we're looking for. So moving on to current research on SEL. So social emotional learning in schools is much more than just the well-being of our students. It has shown improved academic achievement as well as a healthier well-being, like I just mentioned, for many students of all ages, which leads to safer schools because students feel like they can express themselves and it's a safe place. They can get support if they need it, as well as being prepared and getting the supports they need to have a successful future. So we're just going to go into a little bit more detail so you can see what this research looks like. So for academic success, students who participated in SEL interventions at their schools improved their academic performance by 11 percentiles. That's no joke. That is something that really stands out to me, especially, as you're first learning about SEL, it sounds all good and great, but where does the academic piece come in and what does that look like? Well, this tells you when we focus on the social and emotional aspect of our students, academic improvement is something that happens naturally. So that's pretty exciting, in my opinion, at least. All right, so moving on to safer schools. Excuse me. So healthy well-being in safer schools, this essentially just means that when we recognize that our students are going through something and we teach them how to recognize that in themselves as well as manage it, everybody is happier. Teachers, students, school staff, there's lower levels of stress, there's lower bullying rates, and an increased sense of safety and support in schools. So not only are we reaching out to our students and saying, hey, it's normal to have these feelings, and if you start feeling this way, this is what it could be, and this is how you can manage it, and these are the ways that we can help you. Working on all of those skills and introducing those concepts to our students eventually leads to healthier well-beings for them, as well as us as teachers, and ultimately safer schools. So one more category for research here is future readiness, which future readiness, I understand, is a pretty vague term. It's pretty general, but students who participate in SEL programs as they are moving throughout the public education system or even in private schools, they are more likely to graduate high school. They are more likely to pursue higher education and have stable full-time employment. And that's just from focusing on those 5 core competencies and really putting in the work of this is how we recognize and learn about what is going on with ourselves, with others, and this is what we do about it. So, I understand this is a lot of information, especially if you've never heard of SEL before. That's totally understandable. It can be a lot, and this is really just the tip of the iceberg, but that's okay. If you're overwhelmed, that's totally understandable. This is really just the beginning, and recognizing that you're feeling overwhelmed, in a way you're already participating in SEL, and that's fine to share with your students as well, because another key part of that is recognizing it in yourself and being open and being vulnerable with your kids. So, just like our friend David Byrne here, you may be asking yourself, how did I get here? My God, what have I done? And that's okay. I'm here to help. So, moving on. We're almost done. We're just going to dive back in a little bit. So, when we talk about SEL, I know I've already focused on the research, but why do we need it? So, essentially, in an eggshell, social emotional learning focuses on the whole child. So yes, we're talking about how they deal with their emotions, how they manage their emotions, how they recognize that in others and interact with others. But through this process, we are providing them skills that they will hold on to for the rest of their lives, especially if we start from an early age and move throughout high school. Those skills are being built upon and getting stronger over the course of 12 plus years. So by the time they do graduate high school and are ready to move on into the world with whatever they may do, they are prepared. All right, so one last thing, tips and tricks. So with all of that information, I know it feels like it's difficult to figure out where to begin. So here are some SEL strategies that you can implement right away in your classroom. So the first one is fairly simple. Greet students at the door. Use their names. Say, hey, Jane, how are you doing this morning? Or what'd you have for breakfast? Or, hey, Hunter, how was your last class if it's high school? Simple as that. And even just getting into the process of that every day, you're acknowledging them. You are taking the time to interact with every single student, and it just puts everybody in a better space right off the bat. Then community circles, these come with a little bit of practice, but even if you just start with getting your whole group into a circle, everybody sits down, we establish rules of how it's going to go, and we talk about what our favorite food is, or something as simple as that, that gives everybody a chance to talk, everybody a chance to be heard. And as the school year moves on, we can get into more serious topics, but it's a way for everyone to feel included, and really it's something that's easy to do every day. I'm running out of time, so really quick, we're just going to say class jobs. That is something that can be like reading monitor or recess monitor, someone that helps bring the equipment in when we play outside, that sort of thing. Something as simple as that teaches responsibility, and it also teaches relationship skills, which are 2 of those 5 core competencies. And then one last thing is just a 1 minute to 5 minute quick reflective journal prompt every day. And these can be interchangeable with the circle prompts. It can be, when was a time you felt proud of yourself? When was a time that your feelings were heard? Simple as that, 1 to 5 minutes. They have the option to share, and that would be a great segue into the circles as well. So that is it for me. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their day.